Well, hello again. I know this isn't our every 2-week normal session here, but I wanted to send you guys a bonus episode, and it's really kind of funny how this came about. When I did my initial interview with Denise Pridemore, we got towards the end of the interview where I had stopped asking questions and, kind of gave her a chance to plug her site and any of things that she wanted to make public on my show. And I thought I pushed stop on my recording button, but apparently I didn't. And normally after I stop an interview, there's really maybe 5 minutes of dialogue where I kind of go over the usual stuff about, whenever the show airs, I'll contact my guests and let them know, any links I have to my episode, if they want to put it on their website or tweet it or anything like that. We did that, but then we got to some additional conversation. And we ended up talking an extra 45 minutes. And at the end, I thought, gosh, I really wish I would have just kept recording and had all this information. And then later, about a week later, I went back to do some editing for the audio just to kind of clean things up and tidy it up a little bit. And I opened the file and I thought, oh my God, I actually was recording this whole time. So it turned out to be that my mistake is benefiting us all here. So just to clarify, after I learned that I did this and I listened to it, I thought, well, there's some stuff on here I wasn't sure Denise really wanted me to share. And obviously, ethically speaking, if someone knows or doesn't know they're being recorded, I reached out to Denise and asked her permission. I gave her the file and said, hey, would you mind if I shared this? And I kind of explained that I thought I hit the stop button when we were recording. And she said, yeah, no problem. So I was very happy to have her permission to do this. This is some extra bonus content concerning the Sallie House and a few other things on there as well. But it was too much of a good conversation not to share with you guys. So I'm glad to be able to bring this extra content to you between my normal every 2-week episodes. So let's have a listen. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now. I feel like there's so many more directions this could go. Now I'm interested in your other investigations of all the other places you're talking about.
Well, I tell you, we have investigated from, Seattle to the Bahamas to. I'm from Baltimore, so the Edgar Allan Poe house I checked out when I was a kid. I've been to Gettysburg, but not as an adult. Mm-hmm. I'm going to Gettysburg in June, I hope. I've been to the Hatfields and McCoys grave sites, which is really strange that they're buried in the same graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My mom lives in the county where a lot of that happened. Mm-hmm. And then, we've been everywhere. I mean, we went to the Goldfield Hotel in Goldfield, Nevada. We've been to Tonopah. We went to the Clown Motel. Is just creepy looking. It's not haunted, mm-hmm. but the graveyard is very interesting.
Right.
The funny part is we went in March, and you tell people, oh, it's snowing in Nevada. No, it doesn't snow in Nevada. Yes, it does. Tonopah is 7,000 feet above sea level. Mm-hmm. So there was snow on the ground when we went. It was really cold. We weren't prepared. We went for a wedding in Vegas, and we went up there. And then, but the Mizpah Hotel, mm-hmm. is haunted, and Ghost Adventures did it as well when they did Goldfield, and it's really interesting. I liked that place, but yeah, I did the Merchants Cafe in Seattle.
Okay.
I went there for a business trip to Seattle. I work for CenturyLink.
Oh, okay.
Of course, we don't have CenturyLink Field or anything like that, but
right.
we really don't. That's just our name. But my husband's company is out of Seattle, or out of Belleville. That's it, Belleville. And so I went up there on a business trip, and I went over to, the Irish restaurant, Kel's Irish Pub.
Okay.
The first night I was there, and told them, this is Valentine's Day, the 13th and the 14th. Of February a few years ago. I had shingles. I was sick as hell.
Oh, geez.
And so I had to eat. So I went out there and I told them, I said, yeah, I'd really like to check out, the place. And I said, I saw it on Ghost Adventures, and they let me walk around. They took me upstairs where the morgue was and all that, and showed me around by myself, basically mm-hmm. me and them. You know? Okay, so the next night I go over to the Merchant's Cafe, and it had been on Dead Files. And I'm by myself on Valentine's Day, so I look pitiful, shingles and all, I look pitiful. And the lady that was on the Dead File sits down and talks to me, and I tell her, I said, I'd really love to hear your story. I said, you look like you're doing much better than you were on the episode. And then she called the bartender over that was also on the episode, and they sat down and they talked with me. I ended up being there like 5 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
They gave me the keys and told me I could go anywhere I wanted.
Wow.
So I walked all through the place and told me stuff that wasn't aired, and the things that they avoided, and about Amy Allen and stuff. And Amy Allen's been to the Sallie House as well, but nobody knows it because of the fact that it was before Dead Files.
Okay.
And so, I'm talking to her and I'm getting all this information from this woman at the Merchant's Cafe, and it was like, this is great. All I got to do is talk to people and they'll tell me anything I ask. Yeah. And so it was really neat. And then one time I was in Denver and I met Chris Moon, who's getting really popular again. He went and he did Telephone to the Dead reading on me and all that stuff. Those things are like $120 now, $125. Yeah. He did mine for free because of Sallie House, because he wanted to buy the Sallie House at one time. There's a long story with Chris Moon, but he was doing all kinds of events in Atchison before I got started up there. And so anytime he has a question now about the Sallie House, he asks me. But he told me, he goes, my dad, we have a tour downtown Denver. He goes, if you can go, we'll give you a tour. Okay. So I went into work that day because we have an office in Denver as well. I went into work and I was talking to my VP. Right. And he goes, guess what? I go, what? And he goes, I bought us tickets for a ghost tour. Downtown Denver.
Oh, wow.
And so we all head downtown, and my boss gets down there and he gets a call. He has to leave. So then my VP's leaving and he's going, okay, I'm sorry, I can't go. He goes, but you go. He goes, you will have a great time. So he gave me, the confirmation and all that. I ended up walking through downtown Denver by myself with Chris Moon's dad. What was supposed to be an hour tour ended up taking us 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Because, well, he kept telling me all this private stuff about Chris Moon and his family, and it's like, who am I going to tell?
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, it just makes people more human. But we went to the Peabody House on this tour, and we're standing on the porch, and all of a sudden, I lose all my hearing in my right ear. Can't hear a damn thing. Okay. I'd been in Denver at this point for 3 days. If I was going to have altitude sickness, it would have happened before then. And I'd been to Denver many times, never had any issues. So I'm sitting there and I'm getting closer and closer to Mr. Huff. And that's really their last name, Huff, not the other Huff. So I'm getting closer and closer, and he goes, what's wrong? I said, I can't hear. I said, so I need to. And he looks at me and he goes, that happens here. I go, what? He goes, women, especially women, lose their hearing because there's a spirit in there that doesn't want you to hear what she did to the children.
Oh, creepy.
And, I was like, oh, crap. And my hearing did not come back until I got out of downtown Denver.
Wow.
So it stayed that way for about 45 minutes.
What a crazy experience, though. I mean...
Oh, I've had so many weird ones that I can't even explain it. But the thing is that, this, short tour that shouldn't have taken that long ended up taking longer because he felt like he could say more things about these hauntings, like the Coke Patterson house. It's this huge red mansion. And the stories are amazing about these dogs jumping out of windows and committing suicide. That's what they thought. But it's quite possible that a spirit threw them out the window. Oh, but this is another one of those construction site things where they're saying, oh, we're doing construction. We come in the morning and it's all undone.
Right.
that's one of the places. But Chris Moon, when he was 13, 14 years old, the people who owned the place gave him free reign and let him roam around that place and investigate and all that other stuff until the new owners bought it.
Wow.
But the guy that lived in their the carriage house or above the garage out there was the guy that was supposed to have been moving the bodies from Cheeseman Park to the graveyard when they decided to make Cheeseman Park into a park as opposed to a graveyard.
Right.
Well, they found a bunch of those bodies underneath Coke Patterson.
Oh, gosh.
Just legs and stuff, so it's just kind of weird. But if you check that place out, I think it's either now a bed and breakfast or something. But I haven't been back to Denver in the last 3 years. They took away our traveling from CenturyLink to save money.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it's like every time I went anywhere, I always treated it was like the last time I was going to go.
Yeah.
So I always did something, like the Lumber Baron Inn in Denver. I've been there. But my husband, when he was traveling all the time, he didn't, because he was working that much. I always made sure that I made time, because there's places that I'll never go again. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like you got a great list of experiences, and I mean, just cool stuff. I like your stories.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the favorite places, though, I mean, yeah, I have a shitload of stuff about the Sallie House. We didn't even go into all the history. But if I'd started from the very beginning, well, they came from St. Joe, Missouri, and that they actually had 5 kids, and only 3 made it to adults.
Wow.
That Dr. Finney's wife, her father, they owned a brewery. So she was part of a brew family, and so that's probably the reason why he got in trouble for providing alcohol to the Eagles Club, is he probably got it from them.
Yeah.
But there's all these things that people want to make something out of nothing. But historically speaking, the real history is so interesting when it comes to the facts. Like when in 1905, Dr. Finney moved out of the house, the Sallie House, and he lived in the house next door. So with his wife, his mother, and their new son. So there was never a little girl that lived in the house except for Agnes Finney. She lived in the house as a little girl. So after 1939, there were people that lived in the house, but nobody that died in the house after 1939.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I've been putting together a timeline so that I can write a book about before the Pickmans and the experiences thereof, because I can't expound upon the experiences that the Pickmans had.
Right.
And if you ask the Pickmans to come on your show, more than likely they will.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I may have to look them up. You don't think of getting in touch with people like that because they probably, don't want to talk about it. But
no, actually, they will talk about it. She's, like I said, if she's getting ready to write, she is getting ready to write the next book, or she is already writing it. She's going to want the publicity, and I know Deb and Tony. I just talked to Tony on, what was it, Thursday? No, it wasn't Thursday. It was earlier in the week. I'm supposed to talk to him about something, a Netflix opportunity.
Okay. That
he wanted me to get involved in, because they'll talk about me on, if you really want to know more about history, Denise she's a tour guide. She'll tell you the truth and all that. A lot of our tour guides will just stick with the urban legend. There's like another thing that Tim Wood did from Live Sci-Fi is he went into the attic of the house and said he found a bloody T-shirt or a bloody sweatshirt in there. Okay, the thing is he told me he found it in 2011. Okay. Why would he wait until last September to come out with it?
Right.
Okay. Last September 17th, we walk into the house and the house had been vandalized. Okay. What's strange is that the attic door was missing. Somebody had hit the ceiling and knocked out a bunch of plaster. And the house was filled with mosquitoes. What's funny is that I went through the entire house, not only me, but 10 of us went through that house looking under under beds, under mattresses, under box springs, in closets, everywhere, looking for this attic door.
Mm-hmm.
When they came in on Sunday, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the hell was it? Because I took pictures of it. I have a video. I did Facebook Live, and I actually show that there's nothing, the door's not there.
Right.
And so that was the night I got rushed by Agnes Finney. We were getting ready to leave, and I kept hearing noises on the stairs. There's a whole bunch of people in the house. I keep hearing noises on the stairs, and my husband's going, "What's wrong?" And I walk over to the stairs, and I'm looking up, and the lady that had rented the house, her name was Rhodey. She's a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now. She's a friend of mine now. And I said, "What's wrong?" And to the spirit, and she's just pacing up and down. She's really mad. And all of a sudden, I didn't move or anything, and I wasn't acting like I was scared. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, she comes running down the stairs and right through me. And I mean, I stepped back. I almost hit the wall.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Well, I guess I need to go upstairs." And I mean, everybody saw me that was in the house, that was in the living room, because you can't see from the kitchen and dining room to where the stairs are.
Okay.
So Ron sees it, and he goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, I guess Agnes wants to talk." And so I go all the way upstairs to the master bedroom, and I'm talking to Agnes, and I tell her, it's going to be okay. These people aren't going to vandalize your house. I said, they're going to make sure you're safe all night. They're going to take good care of you. And so Rhodey has gotten her camera at this point, and listening to me talk to the spirit to tell her everything's going to be okay, that these people are not going to hurt you. They're not going to provoke. They even left their Ouija board at home because I asked them to. Mm-hmm. So needless to say, it took me 25 minutes to calm down the spirit.
Wow.
And I mean, we didn't even leave until way after 9 o'clock. And we'd gotten there, 10 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And we'd been doing tours all day and everything. And we still had the hour and a half drive home.
Right.
So it was like, oh, crap. How am I going to get her to calm down? And there's also a spirit of a little boy in the house. We didn't even talk about Paul. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like men, especially men with deep voices. And the thing is he never lived there either. But some of the things that I've gotten is that his mother worked for the Glicks across the street. Mm-hmm. The Glick mansion across the street. So that's funny. So you got a 3-bedroom house across the street from a mansion. Mm-hmm. The Glick mansion was the governor's mansion. So you figure the Finneys lived across the street from one of the governors of the state of Kansas. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's really strange is that they're both Democrats, and I'm a Republican, so maybe we should have had some problems. Yeah. But I did get to use the election a lot in the tours this year.
Right.
Because you figure, I said, with all the mudslinging that happens in elections, if he really had killed a kid, don't you think that somebody would have brought it up during the election?
Right.
Things like that. He was also asked to run for mayor again after they asked him to step down in 1916. They asked him to run for mayor in 1916 again.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he wasn't a bad man. It was just making a statement that prohibition is important. We don't want our men having liquor. And what's really strange is that Atchison has St. Benedict's, and Benedictine College, mm-hmm. Mount St. Scholastica, Mar Hill. All of these are all Catholic. Mar Hill is a Catholic boarding school. Okay. But we have St. Benedict's, the big, huge churches there, and then Benedictine College and Mount St. Scholastica. It's a very large Catholic community. Okay, the Catholic community is pissed that Haunted Atchison exists.
Really?
Okay, yes. They try to shut us down every year. But if they are truly wanting to get rid of whatever's going on in town, wouldn't they be out blessing everything to get rid of it?
You'd think so, huh?
But they're ignoring it, is what they're doing. Yeah. That's why I said 70% of the place is haunted. 50% of the people will admit it, but only 25% of them will talk about it. Wow. And that's fact. I mean, somebody one of the teams that's up there, they put out a note on Facebook asking for people's stories, and they got nothing.
Huh.
And I told them, I said, they don't want my stories. They're mad at me, but they actually want to be the tour guides of the Sallie House is what they want.
Right, right.
And the chamber likes us doing it. They don't worry. They never worry about who's going to be there or anything else. They know it's taken care of. And, this is what you get for being there for them for years. So, but I don't know. Atchison seems to be the place that we're at the most, but we have interests in other places. Like I said, Malvern, we're going back there in March. We're doing an actual investigation at the Sallie House in February. We don't get to do that. That's one of the things people don't understand. We don't really get to investigate.
Right.
I can only tell you what happens when I'm standing there giving a tour.
Yeah.
If stuff's going to happen while I'm giving a tour, do I really need to investigate? Not really. In that Paranormal Warnings video, if you see it, while we're doing it, there's suddenly a knock on the door. And you can hear them go, oh, crap, it's probably the police. Well, the thing is the home is owned. Les is a retired police officer. The guy who owns the house. So it happens a lot. They just keep an eye on the house because of the fact that it's notoriety. Somebody from YouTube actually called and ordered us pizza.
Oh, really?
2 large bacon pizzas.
That's funny.
And so during this live stream on Ustream, I'm having to get up and go answer the door to talk to the police, and it's actually Pizza Hut.
That's funny.
The thing is the guy who delivered the pizza was this little old man.
Yeah.
You know that there's not that many little old men that deliver pizza for Pizza Huts. It's usually the teenage kid. None of the other guys would come. He told me that. He goes, nobody else would come.
Gosh.
And I was like, really? They wouldn't even come on the porch? I'm asked to do an interview with somebody coming up here, but they don't want to go in the Sallie House.
Okay.
They just want the history.
Wow.
And he says, I'm curious. I said, so you're paracurious. And somebody goes, that's a new word. I said, yeah, I make them up all the time. But, so he's paracurious. He wants to know about the paranormal activity there because that is part of the history of the house. But he wants to know about the history leading up to the Pickmans living there.
Okay.
So I like that. That's fun. And I have another show this week as well. I don't even know where they're out of. But it's just funny that all of this happened at the same time.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Nicole from SDPE was telling me about you. She texted me your contact info as soon as she got back from their investigation, and I kind of went on hiatus for a bit. But I'm kind of curious to see. I'm hoping the timing works out because I'd like to do an interview with some of those guys on the team and see what kind of evidence they uncovered, and if they're willing to share that on my show. I feel like it would all kind of tie in great,
Yeah. And well, I'll tell you, we've got back in December when we went, the Beck story I was telling you about, that was at the Sallie House. They were filming a television show pilot that night when we were there. And I told them they were going to have an interesting night. But the funny thing is a lot of people ask me if the stuff that I said to Ghost Adventures was scripted. And I said no. They go, even the part where you told them they were going to have the investigation that they asked for. And I go, no, it wasn't scripted. I said that's what the spirits were telling me.
Yeah.
But some of the things that happened that nobody saw was when they were interviewing me on the front porch, and they had to stop for a minute because it was loud. And so Jay and Aaron put down their cameras. My husband's sitting across the street on the wall at the Glick Mansion with my daughter, and all of a sudden, every light in the house was on, everyone. All of a sudden, the entire house went dark and came back, and the lights came back on. Nobody was catching it. Nobody had the cameras up.
Oh no!
So they missed that. And then another thing that got missed is I was giving them a tour through the house, and they're upstairs, and we're talking in front of the, well, you could see all the bedrooms from where I'm standing anyway. But all of a sudden, they all got nauseous and had to stop filming and sit down.
Okay.
So it's strange that they'll have something stupid happen on TV that they decide that is important enough to talk about, but yet all of them get nauseous and have to sit down. They don't talk about that. That just seemed very odd to me. But I didn't even know that, after I had heard that Deb and Tony were going to be on there, I didn't think that I'd be on there.
Yeah.
I figured that they would just would have redone the tour with them instead of us.
Right.
Or instead of me. And my husband and daughter are also in the episode. They're in the graveyard.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I thought it was kind of neat just being part of it. It has created, again, Sallie House coming between friendships. So is Ghost Adventures. Somebody goes, "Oh, you're all Hollywood now." I'm like, bullshit. I said, girls from Baltimore don't get Hollywood. We don't. And I just like talking about the paranormal. I don't care who it's to. I'll talk to the lady in the grocery store, even though she does give me that funny look.
Yeah.
But there are some people that I talk to in the grocery store that like hearing about it. And McDonald's, there's a lady at McDonald's that wants to hear about it. But, it's just one of those things that I'll talk about it all day long if I can. And if it comes to the Sallie House, if you really want to hear facts, I've got an entire book of facts. I have all their obituaries of the Finney family. I've been looking for more information on the people who lived there after. Do you know that there's like 75 different phone numbers that have been listed to that house?
Oh, wow.
Since they've been keeping records of phone numbers.
Yeah.
There were no death records kept in Kansas until 1900. So some of the death records are hard to find, but the census tells us a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a Sally Isabel Hall that they say is related to the house, but I can't prove it, that her obituary has 2 different addresses. How in the hell does that happen?
Yeah.
How does she have 2 different obituaries with 2 different addresses in 2 different newspapers? And she was like a 30-year-old woman who had given birth to 14 kids.
Yeah.
And it is possible that Dr. Finney might have been her doctor.
Yeah.
But the thing is nobody knows for sure if Dr. Finney took black patients in 1900s. 1905. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Some of the stuff I don't know, but the stuff I do know is even weirder.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but if you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully the article helped a little bit. The one that was done by Immersion magazine.
Right. Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm trying to figure out if I could if I can embed it like in my site, or if I could at least quote the whole thing and use the pictures. I don't want to steal or do anything unethical.
Do you know what? I have an email I can send that was my original writing.
Okay.
If you want that, because they basically took everything that I wrote and put it in the article.
Great.
In fact, they just asked me to write another article for them.
Wonderful.
So I'm getting ready to work on that this week. Because this actual magazine that they did, it was an online version. They're getting ready to do a print version of it now.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I have the actual email that I sent to them, and I can send you that.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
So, thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to go take a nap.
I understand. Well, I hope you feel better and you get through this cold mess.
Oh, I will. It just hit me really bad, and between Friday, Saturday. Yesterday was worse.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets a little bit better, but I'm not worried about it. Hopefully I'll be quiet the rest of the day, and my husband will be happy.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for your time and for being willing to truck through this when you're not feeling well. Feel better, and I'll send you some emails. I think it's probably going to air February 5th.
Okay.
But, I'll shoot you a notification and send you some links too.
Okay. Well, I'll send you that other email here in a little bit, and that way you can have that.
All right. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that extra bonus content. What I'm going to do, especially if this is the first time that you're listening to this show, I'm going to put a link to my show notes for the initial interview, episode 20 with Denise Pridemore. You can visit that at deviatus.com/Pridemore for the original interview. And I will be back next week with some additional Sallie House content. Remember, this was a multi-part season premiere. Drop me a line and let me know if you're enjoying this. And if you are, then great, retweet, rate and review, all that good stuff. But if you really have some comments you'd like to share or questions you'd like to ask, I'm really hoping to get a very special guest or guests interviewed before I conclude this season premiere on the Sallie House. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, or if you'd like me to ask them on my show, shoot me an email at deviatuspod@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening again. I hope you enjoyed our bonus episode. Have a great week.